starting.
All right, 3,
You make a
2,
joke, they can say
1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Movies by the Letter. I'm your host, Nick, and this is the movie. Yeah, put my mic closer. And this is the podcast where we choose a letter and choose 3 movies. And today we've got a.
We got a real doozy for you today, all right? This one, this is this. If this isn't,
I think that's why. Is because his microphone is like falling out.
if this isn't our best episode yet,
You know what? Unsubscribe.
I don't know what to say.
Unsubscribe.
Mark my words.
Mail in a rebate, and I'll pay. I will send you money.
If you mailing a piece
Letter?
of your own poop to us, we will announce your name on the podcast.
Letter A.
That's a promise.
Yeah, we'll let you pick the movie.
Please don't make that promise.
If you support us, we'll let you pick the movie.
If you pledge $15 on our Patreon,
I am
we'll
thinking
also
like
presumably
I am thinking
have it.
eventually like deeper into that we like once people are actually listening we do like a listener write-in episode
I'd be fine.
like a jam-packed episode
Nice.
where we watch like a bunch.
If you pledge out $1,000 to us,
We'll just stop.
we will.
You can send us money to just stop recording this and we'll just stop.
Anyways,
if
the
you don't-
letter
That
A.
could be a major mistake.
if
We
you-
could blow up.
If you don't want to hear our stupid voices, well, you gotta pay us. All right, what
Hopefully
letter?
you don't
What letter
just
are we
hear us
doing?
adjusting
We're
the
doing the
lights.
letter A today.
Obviously, they would know that if they read the description.
What did everyone pick?
I picked Audition.
The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
I initially picked All That Jazz, but it's nowhere, so I switched it to Amélie.
You're really gonna lie to the viewers like
Amélie.
Is it Amélie? Or
that? Wow.
I think it's
Amélie?
Amélie.
Why don't you
It's
tell them your
Amélie.
way to look up the
Isn't it
pronunciation before the podcast. Like a
It's
professional.
Amélie.
I'll tell you the real
What else
story.
would it be?
I said,
I don't
hey
know.
John, you should pick All That Jazz. He said, musicals are gay? And if you ever bring that to me...
Listen, Cabaret is one of my favorite movies
Yeah,
ever.
John is a homophobe. Just
Check
give
my
it
John is a
letterbox.
huge
Check those
homophobe.
top
It
4
really shocked me,
faves,
actually.
and you know what you'll see there.
I thought he was gay, but then I realized he was a homo.
That'll speak for itself. It'll be Loquisha, Venom, Pulp Fiction,
The classic.
and Cabaret.
The
That's
classics.
the fours. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
What movie are we starting with?
I think we're gonna start with the Assassination of Jesse James. Do we have any?
I don't know.
I don't think you said the
Yeah,
full
what
name.
was that?
God.
And I think it's just Assassination.
Alright.
It's not the.
I just like to clarify the name of this movie is obnoxious.
No, it's the
I disagree. I think
Assassination.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's unique.
Okay, whatever.
I like it.
I'm not a huge
It's
fan of
the
long names.
Assassination.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, I know.
I
but
thought
John
it's-
said it was just
I thought it was just Assassination.
No,
I've just been
the-
calling it Assassination, just to shorten it.
I guess there's.
Oh well, I guess you didn't say the full name.
I guess we'll just end it all.
Well, when
I'm
you're
gonna end
in a
everything.
Snapchat group chat, I don't think...
I just said the Assassination of
It's
JJ.
going to be Assassination of Carter Green by the awesome dude Jonathan Pietrafeza.
by famed homophobe Jonathan Pietrafeza.
You guys are gonna get me.
All right, so are we starting? What is going on? Okay, so
Certified.
the
I
Assassination
think
of
we-
Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
What's
is
it about?
About the Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. It's directed by Andrew Dominik, and
There's a little
it
more to it than that.
has
I'd
a
say.
huge all-star cast. It's basically about
Pitt, Affleck,
Renner.
Renner,
Rockwell,
Rockwell,
Schneider,
the dude from Parks and Rec. That's pretty much it. That's all I can
Zoe
think of.
Deschanel.
Of course, the girl from Elf.
Well, most people would probably know her from New Girl.
No, most people know her from The Happening.
I know her from
I don't
Elf.
think that's the case.
Yeah,
Anyways,
so that's a movie.
So,
Movie watch.
big all-star cast.
It's not
It's
that big of an all-star
kind
cast.
of is.
You have the Pitt
This
in
isn't
there?
a very popular movie,
Pitts.
I don't think.
You have Pitt.
I know, but I don't
You've
think
got
it's
the
an
Rockwell.
all-
No, you have Pitt. You ended there.
You have
That's
Casey
all-
Affleck.
All you need is Pitt.
Oh, wow.
You've got Sam
Dude,
Rockwell.
worse Affleck.
Why would this isn't a description of
The
the movie.
Affleck duck is better than Casey.
Ooh.
Casey Affleck,
Affleck.
is a great actor.
That probably
Anyways,
sounded great on audio.
yeah, probably there's a-
Headphone users beware is gonna go in the description.
It's basically about the James gang, and
An epic.
What a great
it's
game.
this very, very grand, large movie about the events leading up to and directly after the assassination of Jesse James, what led to it. There's a couple little side plots here and there. There's a whole giant array of characters.
Oh, interweave.
They all interweave. It all connects in the end to explain basically how and why Jesse James was assassinated, and who everyone was, who Jesse James was, who
was
Robert
Jesse
Ford
James?
Was. Yeah. So
Dick
what?
Little.
Dick Little.
Greatest movie name of all time.
So
Like
what
DTM.
did you guys think
You want to
of
start with me?
Yeah.
this film?
I thought it was incredible. I absolutely love this movie.
Jonathan?
Agreed.
Agreed, and I think it's a masterpiece, and I think it's the best thing we've watched.
Masterpiece! We got our first
I think
masterpiece!
this is fantastic.
I don't know if it's better than It's Dead in Two Now.
I do.
I think
But it is up there. Oh my
Masterpiece.
As much as I love Ascending Two Knots, I think this movie
Oh god, yeah.
is
We just watched it. Like, we just kind
So we're
of we are fresh
We are
off this
behind,
movie.
yeah.
And
it is 2:15 in the morning.
the viewing experience, just three of us, was so fun. Let's start with that.
It was fun in
So many different
There's
ways.
so many things
Oh,
we could start
I
talking
don't
so
know
many
where to
visceral
start.
reactions.
Let's start with some let's start with the basics.
Basics.
Looks.
Beautiful.
The
Beautifully shot.
the western front is
Roger
on
Deakins.
full.
Uh,
The western front
really?
Yeah, it's Roger
I didn't know
Deakins.
that.
The western front
it
is
looks
on
beautiful.
the
Anytime
west-
you see a beautiful movie, you should just guess it's Roger Deakins.
the western
wow.
front is on full display here in all its glory. We see
Yeah.
different seasons. We see wheat fields. We see mountains. We see all sorts of
Yes, we
landscapes.
see night, we see day, we see all the homes they live in.
Yeah, it's
all beautifully crafted.
You get a
It all
sense
feels
of
very real.
isolation, but like, and also the sense of scale of like these landscapes and stuff.
It's a atmospheric movie in a lot of ways.
It's gorgeous, and then like also when they come into closer spaces, I think those are all done very well.
Mhm.
Like it makes Jesse James' character seem so menacing. Like there's a couple, there's one shot, like obviously the shot where he's following behind him in the horse, and he goes off screen for a
So
bit. It's an
fantastic.
incredible shot. There's a
We
shot
could
where
list off amazing shots.
there's a shot where the
this
two
entire
brothers are conversing, and he lights the candle in the back, and you like
Yeah.
just see his shadow. Some like subtle, incredible stuff that
He's
like
a looming
So
shape.
I'd just like to say before we go too deep into this movie, because we will get very deep into this movie, 2007 is a ridiculously good year for movies.
Yeah, did you know?
You had No
Juno.
Country for
Juno won for best screenplay.
we're gonna go with
This
No
was even nominated.
No Country
I'm
for
sorry.
Old Men.
Yep.
There Will Be Blood. The Funny Games remake. Like
Roger Deakins.
those
another
are-
masterpiece.
Those are three of my all-time favorite movies
Same
right
here.
there.
Did you know Roger Deakins was nominated twice for some tough feats, still didn't win this year?
For what? For what two movies?
No Country for Old Men and
Oh, you're forgetting
Assassination.
Ratatouille, another incredible
I haven't
movie.
seen Ratatouille. I've heard it's
What?
one of the better Pixar
It's
movies.
great.
Ratatouille might be the best.
Zodiac,
Zodiac.
the Simpsons movie, super
It
bad.
was a bizarrely good year
Yeah.
for movies.
And the Oscars
Spider-Man
still got
3?
it wrong. Spider-Man 3.
Shrek the Third,
The Mist.
The Mist is incredible.
310 to Yuma, also.
I need to see 310.
Okay, we're not talking about other 2007
No, I just wanted
movies.
to briefly mention
Pretty-
that 2007 was
pretty
an
banger
incredible
year.
Except for
movies.
Juno, that's a little stain on that year.
Yeah, Juno brings the year down a few
so we're
pegs.
moving on from that.
Thanks, Diablo Cody.
Anyways, so we've talked about very briefly how
Yeah,
beautiful
we
it is.
just-
And
it's
if we
pretty-
really went into detail, it'd just be us saying
Pretty-
what shots we love.
Pretty, but just overall pretty drop dead gorgeous
Yes.
looking.
It fits the tone of the movie perfectly.
Me and John
Just like-
kept saying it looked like Red Dead Redemption 2. Because it's
Right,
so
yeah, it
gorgeous.
reminded me of like Red
The
Dead.
flashback scenes
Yes.
look fantastic. Well, not flashback, but the filter.
The way they do it looks really good. Like
Looks
it's not like
beautiful.
weird and distracting. Just gushing about how
Yes.
gorgeous this looked.
You could just. This movie's pure eye candy. But it's not just eye candy.
The score,
The score is
perfect,
beautiful. The score
implemented
fits the tone
perfectly.
I think the song at the end is probably my favorite.
Yes,
It's such a
yes,
that
beautiful
was
song.
good. Emotional, like
Yeah, it's
But
extremely emotional.
we haven't gotten to what I think.
We haven't gotten to the best eye candy. Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's
Let's get
a
that.
beautiful
Let's get
man.
that to the way. Brad Pitt is gorgeous.
Well, that
We
segues
figured
into
that out.
what I think may be the best aspect of this movie,
Brad
which is the acting.
Acting is
and the
all
writing,
around.
which I think
All right.
is some of the best I've ever heard.
It definitely should have gotten nominated for screenplay. I don't know how it didn't.
Let's not look back on would have, should have, could have.
No, I
let's
don't
just
care
talk
about
about
Oscars.
Oscars suck. We all know this.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do an Oscar pod?
No.
It'd just be me crying
Why not?
about the White
We're
House.
not gonna have it out in time.
Yeah, true. Unless we would just want to do like
we could do a quick my
no.
predictions are already on Twitter and I nailed them. So
for best
Anyways,
picture you did.
so far we
Actor.
have struggled to stay on topic.
yeah, a little.
All right, everyone, just say your
Lines.
favorite character and actor in the movie.
Brad Pitt.
I'm honestly gonna go with Casey
I knew you were
Affleck
gonna
as
say that.
Robert Ford.
I'm going Brad Pitt just because I think this is his best performance.
It's also it's pretty neck and neck.
It is
so.
neck and
They,
neck.
they are
Those-
both fantastic.
They work all each other
runner
so
up to
perfectly.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy
Jeremy
Renner.
He's
Renner's
good. I
genuinely
was
good
thinking.
in
I was
this
thinking.
movie.
Everyone was. I
Is it
couldn't.
Rockwell?
The kids.
Bad
The kids are
actor,
good
kid
in it.
actors are great.
There's a kid scene that's
It's
horrifying.
Jesse James' wife is in one scene and
She nails it.
kills it.
The kid
She
is
does
in
it
that one scene and
perfectly.
also like portrays emotion really well.
Every performance is fantastic. This movie builds tension in such a masterful way.
There are scenes
In
like
countless scenes in this movie. It felt like the best scenes from *Inglourious Bastards*, except written in a smarter
very
way.
serious, very serious
more-
tone.
Even
I'm not
the
shit.
best
They're just
scene.
different.
They're
How
different, but
dare you?
it's like
Realist. It's gritty. It's real.
It is
it's-
very real.
I
It's
was
scary.
there was multiple scenes in this film where my jaw was just open.
Oh, yeah.
For the
Yeah,
whole scene.
we're like silent.
We
like
can-
we hear pin
We
drop.
can talk about
There were-
the violence.
I
in
think
this
there were
film.
like 3 different dinner scenes that like all were
And they're
like,
all great.
oh my god.
This film blends comedy and drama.
Like it
together
switches
so
from
well.
comedy to
It doesn't switch. It's all one and the same. It's all natural.
the tones
It's
can
all-
shift like that in this. Like
I think it just blends them together
True,
really well.
true.
I think
Yeah, that
I
one
think
scene with
it-
Brad Pitt.
there
and-
isn't like
Yeah,
it's
oh yeah, the one
it's
scene.
not
once-
like they stopped the film to do joke punchline. It's like
It just
it's just part
fits
of
in.
the film.
Like a
It's
lot
the
of
comedy.
tension will be broken with a joke, and it's but
Like
it's
it would
not
be
enough.
not-
everyone's like it's all like uneasy laughs. Like you can
Yes.
tell that they're forcing
Because
themselves.
that's how it actually
Okay,
is. So great.
So you said Casey. Let's talk about the actors we like first. I'm gonna go
Oh.
into some stuff on Brad Pitt.
I want to go into stuff.
I want to go on.
I
you
loved-
picked Brad Pitt as well.
You know I
I want to talk about them both, but I just want to bring up some
I want
stuff.
to talk about. I think Casey Affleck's character is the most interesting part
Yeah.
of this movie as well. But I want to. I'll talk.
We'll
about
have to talk. Let's
He's
do our
arguably the main character.
let's do our
He
Pitt.
is the main.
Let's do our
character
I
Pitt.
don't know how he got supported.
Let's do our Pitt talk first.
All right.
Yeah, Pitt talk.
We'll
Um,
make a quick
the
pit stop for this one.
Boom. The fact that he was
Pitt go.
he was literally like the boogeyman in this movie,
He is.
and he played it
In a believable
very
way.
very well.
It wasn't ridiculous at any moment.
No, like, see, the scene I thought of was the scene when he talks about when he's with the brother and he's talking about how he took the one guy out for a ride.
Yes.
Like when you get the flashback, like right after the flashback,
Yes.
there's a look in his eyes that's like it looks like there's tears, but it's just pure like fear. And then he goes and sits in that chair and like you can just see him in the shadows and it's like he is an absolute menace.
Brad Pitt could have played this like most actors would have played this, which is just straight
Emotionless.
Straight anger, but
emotionless. But there's so much that he
There's,
says
like,
with just
twangs
his
of-
face and his eyes,
Oh my god.
and it's absolutely stunning to watch. And then when he talks, it just becomes even. He says so much without using words, but then when he does use
when
words,
he it's like oh
it's gorgeous. It's
and he
just-
doesn't even say
it
much. It's
flows-
just like
no.
and he doesn't say it like
But
over
when
the top
when
or
he
anything.
does say things, you know it's incredibly important, and it's never cheesy. It's never corny. It would be so easy to have him
works.
come off as corny.
Yeah, you could have like
or
dumb
over the
one-liners,
top.
but like his one-liners come off as so badass and
Dude, he is a badass.
This, in a lot of ways, this movie is a weird love letter to
Jesse James.
Yeah.
Yes.
which brings me. I don't know. Hannah, we'll keep talking about Pitt before I talk about why I like Casey Affleck's character so much. I love Pitt too. but-
I love
agree with
Casey
you.
Affleck
I-
too. I think every performance is from Sound.
I just
Yes.
really like I think Casey Affleck's character is the most interesting. I had the
Yes.
most fun watching Brad Pitt's character.
Yes.
So if
Also
you're
most
saying like
interesting.
if you're saying like favorite character, that's
Yeah.
why I'm like Jesse James' character.
Yeah.
But back like I've mentioned before how the framing of many of the shots like make him as such an imposing threat. Like
Yeah,
one of
early
my
on, the train.
one of my like a very simple but like probably one of my favorite shots in the movie is when they're all at Jesse James's house together and it's just a shot of Brad Pitt taking up the entire couch,
so
while
good.
Robert Ford's character is sitting on the floor playing with a children's toy,
Cross.
And
just like
Crisscross apples.
just like he has such there's two brothers.
Such
It
an
would be
imposing
it would be a
figure.
2-on-1 in any scenario, and he constantly puts them in their place.
he counts
Always.
as 3 men.
He it doesn't need to like show. It almost never even shows his actions.
no,
You think about
the
it?
only time it really shows graphically what he does is when
With
he
the
does
kid.
an embarrassing thing that he's ashamed of.
of.
Which is another aspect I like. He is this incredibly badass, stern, dramatic, imposing
But he's
character. But he's
filled
a
with
real
emotion.
human. He's not this like archetype character of what a badass should be. He is a real human. He makes mistakes. He acknowledges these mistakes. He has emotions. He weeps at multiple
He
points
could
in
have.
this movie.
This movie
Watch
could have been
his own
like.
life.
This movie could have been like, oh, Jesse James the badass. Like here he is doing. Like here's him gunslinging and
James
stuff.
Is a badass.
But you
Casey
almost-
Affleck is a loser,
his-
and that's it.
His
But
character,
it's so much more than
his
that.
badass character is created purely off of like seeing the fear of others. Like not his words literally
Yes.
speak louder than his actions.
He's a pretty terrifying character.
I know, but I mean like
He's unpredictable.
you know
he-
know people fear him because you see them fear him. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I loved the way whenever someone was being accosted by him,
They're so awkward. They look sick.
the
They
makeup in
all
this movie is fantastic. They all look like they've actually experienced the West and aren't just Hollywood actors in the West.
Quick aside, costume design also incredible in this.
Incredible.
Like
It's gorgeous.
it made
to
me
look at.
want to live in these
Made me
times,
wanna
even though
dress
it'd
up
be
in a suit
terrible.
and a top hat and smoke a
Like
cigar.
that beginning train action sequence was so
Oh,
fun. to look
one of
at.
my favorite shots is when it goes to complete blackness for like
the
a
train.
full 10 seconds, and
And
then you
the
just
train.
see the train come around the corner, and you see Jesse James's figure lit
That-
up by the train.
That moment was like, I was like, okay, I was like, I'm in.
And then the train robbery scene occurs, and I realize what kind of violence this movie has.
Realistic, gritty,
Fantastic violence.
And now,
gritty.
A lot of movies, when they show violence, they use these obnoxious sounds
yeah.
to display that. This is just like if you hit a table,
clunk.
and it's realistic.
Like human
Another
skull
movie that
crack.
does that really well is
Yeah.
Bone Tomahawk. Has this really dry,
I still need to see that.
very blunt violence, and that's my favorite type of violence. And it's the most realistic.
Weirdo.
And it's
Psychopath here.
It is my favorite type.
No,
because
I'm
it feels
joking.
real. Like
Yeah.
you feel it. You're actually
Every-
affected by it. It's not
every-
movie violence. It's
Every
real
gunshot
violence.
in this movie, you like felt it. Like
Yes.
every single gunshot, chilled me to the bone. I was like, "That's a real gunshot. Somebody just
Yes.
died."
There's realistic muzzle flash too. Like
the-
you see the smoke come out.
Yes,
of the gun.
like-
the duel between
The two
Jeremy Renner and
Parks and Rec guy,
Parks and Rec guy
Schneider.
Dick Little.
Dick Little, also hilarious. That's so
The
funny.
duel between Dick Little and Jeremy Renner
It's so good.
is such a
And it's
well choreographed.
and it's shot so well. They're
scene.
so tight
And-
together.
There's such great moments of tension building. You just hear his footsteps rushing up the stairs.
Yeah.
And it
of-
stares at that door for probably 15 seconds.
It's
And then just
fantastic.
out of nowhere,
every
boom.
aspect of this movie is executed with such craft and such perfection.
And it's almost 3 hours long.
yeah, it
Yeah.
never.
We barely
lets up.
felt it. Compare
I-
this to Zero Dark 30, which you feel every single
we,
second
we
of.
stopped this movie and it was like 40
Oh my god,
minutes
it's been
in,
50
and-
minutes.
Yeah, and we were like,
Like I thought it was
oh,
like 10.
because
It
it's I
brings
wouldn't
you in.
necessarily say it's a fast-paced
It
movie.
isn't. It takes its
just-
time, but like
it
every
strings you
single
along.
scene.
It's one of those movies where you have to you watch it and you just are like, all right, the director knows what he's doing and he's gonna take me on this journey across this land, and I just get to sit back because I know he's doing all of the work.
It's
for
so
me.
well paced too. Like it shifts between character groups so well. Like even when we're seeing like side characters do their thing, like that was still interesting. Like a little
yeah,
like a
there's
little aside with
There's a ton
Schneider
of
and Renner.
subplot.
Like
There's a
you
ton
find
of
out that
subplots.
like it's a really old man and his wife, and then the wife gets like killed for sleeping with this dude. It's
yeah,
like
you just hear that as,
it's
as a
like,
story.
like just a side thing, like whatever. The way they deal with like the one woman's own brother like being like half dead upstairs. She's so matter of fact about it. It's just like this is how this world works. Like this is how things work.
Yeah.
I really want to rewatch this movie.
Oh, me too. I'm want to rewatch it just to look at it. Like,
Yeah. I just want to.
Again, it's
absorb it all,
it's a almost 3 hour
Almost
movie.
two-
and
2:45
I would watch it
about?
again right now. It's an entertaining experience. It's also a sobering experience. It's a very hard to watch experience sometimes.
The ending is super.
The ending is
depressing.
just-
Can we talk about Casey Affleck now?
Yes.
We've moved on from Pitt. Casey Affleck's character has this fascinating arc that you go through as an audience member watching him.
Mm-hmm.
I really sympathized for him.
Yeah, you
and
almost root for him.
rooted for him for about the first hour of this movie, and then I hated him and wanted him to die for the next hour, and then right at the end they do one last little shift
thing that's like, oh my
where
gosh.
you're like,
He's
I
been-
kind of feel for him.
Yeah.
again.
And then he's dead.
And then he's-
it's genius.
And they don't even show his death.
because the title of the movie is
I think that's my only
The
issue.
Assassination.
What?
This
I really liked that they
No,
didn't
no,
show
no,
his
no.
death.
It's such a small issue. It doesn't matter. I don't like when movies end on the weird like screen cap.
no, I didn't mind that. In this
I was
movie.
like, I thought it was like, we're not giving you guys the satisfaction of showing you his death.
Have you guys
I
seen
didn't wanna see
Mishima
his death.
Life in 4 Chapters?
No, I
That's
haven't.
on my-
That's
was-
another movie that ends with the freeze framing. I don't mind. Most movies that do end with the freeze frame, I get
I'm just
annoyed
not a
at.
huge fan.
I liked it.
It's my own.
I
personal
liked it.
opinion.
I
I think it works in some
think if they would have
yeah.
ended with like showing his death, I don't know. I
I
would have liked
would've-
that.
it
I,
would've-
I definitely did not want them to.
It
show
would
his
have
death.
gone
It
against
would've
what
gone
kind of
against-
the point of the film is.
Yeah.
Which is no one was really a hero. Jesse James was a bad guy in most respects.
Oh yeah, he was a murderer, and like he
He's
was
still-
like crazy. Like
Yeah.
you could see how like a lot of that was from like
Robert
psychotic.
Ford was
like
also a bad guy.
yes,
Yeah.
of course, they all were bad
The
guys.
thing,
Everyone here
the
was.
thing is, it doesn't present anyone as a complete hero. It doesn't present anyone in a total negative light
Like,
either. There was a moment where I don't know. I kind of felt like I kind of want Robert Ford to really kill Jesse James because at that
Yeah.
moment in the film, I hated Jesse James and I was kind of really on Robert
You
Ford's
switch
side.
sides. in
And
this.
by the time Robert Ford kills Jesse James, I hated Robert Ford and I really wanted Jesse James to prevail. And that's part of the genius of this movie.
That scene is really great. His actual
great.
death.
yeah.
So because it's
Well, we have some debating to do about what his why his character.
I think he was just done.
I think he was ready to die.
I think he was tired of constantly
I think-
mistrusting and
I
deceiving.
think him
and-
giving them gun was like, okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
I'm putting my life in your hands. It's
You do what
on
you
you.
want.
It's on you now. I'm done looking over my
I
back.
interpreted it almost as a test of Robert Ford's integrity.
I thought
Yeah.
so.
I can see it as both. Honestly.
I think it was
works as
that,
both.
but I'm down on the thing that he was like, you know what, he mentions how he's sick of looking over everyone's back.
Because at that same
he's done
scene,
with it.
he's looking at like, his kid. I think.
That's a later scene.
Well, no. In that scene, he also sees his kid, and then he gives him the present.
Oh.
Let's be clear. Robert Ford does not kill Jesse James. Jesse James kills himself.
Yeah, he's like,
essentially.
whatever. Because he
quit.
he refused to kill in front of his kids. Like
Yes, which shows his integrity and Robert Ford's
he
lack
truly
of
cared
integrity.
about.
The thing is that Robert Ford has dealt with this constant bullying and
Yeah.
abuse.
He was
his
pushed to
entire
this,
life.
yeah.
He was pushed to
He
this.
needed- he
And
wanted
also-
something.
He was so misguided in almost everything he did in his life. He thought he would be treated as a hero for this murder of Jesse
Yeah.
James, and he ended up basically being a
Getting the
casted out of
same
society.
thing, the same
and
exact
once
thing.
that happens, you start to feel sympathy for him again,
Mm-hmm.
because you feel like, well, he was just a confused
Kid, he was 20.
kid.
He was 20
he's
years
20
old.
And he got caught up in
Yeah.
so much, and he's dealt with so much garbage from everyone.
His hand was forced.
Yeah,
kind of. It's so
he
hard.
could have
It
could have
is
said
hard.
something.
There's so many aspects you can
Yes.
take from this
And that's the
film.
great part of it.
It's such a gray area. It's
Yes.
like so much.
Everyone is real, and it
Like
treats
what would
everything
you
like
what
real.
would you have done? Like
No
I don't
idea.
know.
I would have shot myself.
And that's the genius.
The coward.
Seeing his shaky hand pointing, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
such a great shot. And then like comparing that with them acting it out,
Yeah.
like that's when I was back on like, all right, fuck this guy. He's profiting off the. He's
No, I
clearly-
hated him when he killed.
Well, yeah, I mean, but when I really was like, okay, he deserves
Yeah.
to be.
There's still layers there, though. Like
Even then, yeah, I know, but like when he started like trying to profit off and like acting like this big bad
I
tough
just saw
guy
that-
when he
the
really
whole movie-
wasn't.
The whole movie, he's he wants to be like Jesse
He
James.
has little
and the only way he
twangs.
feels like he could do that is by
Literally
becoming
trying
this
to become him.
badass character, but he fails at that too, and eventually by the end he just realizes,
What can I
I'm
do?
gonna accept myself for who I am. I'm not Jesse James. I'm not this cool guy. I just want to live a peaceful
And
life.
by the time
with
he
my
does
wife.
that-
and when he finally accepts who he is, he finally accepts, yeah, I'm not a hero. I'm not this brave soul. I'm kind of a coward, but
He
I'm
says
okay
it. He literally
with that.
says he was. I did it because I was afraid. Like,
Yeah,
that line
yeah.
right there
And
is such.
It's so great.
It's okay. It's kind of beautiful. He finally learns to live with who he is,
And then-
at that point, that was it for him. He had completely evolved from this likable loser to this very despisable winner in a way,
Yeah.
to back to being this loser character, but a loser
Likeable loser.
likable loser who isn't really a loser anymore because he's finally discovered himself, and that was his arc, and it's fantastic.
Probably a really genius arc.
Really,
You
genius
go
arc
on it with
in a
him.
really subtle way that could have been presented in a very dumb, simplistic way.
And we're talking all this about his character. We haven't even mentioned like how he acts it.
It's
Incredibly
it's wonderful.
Like
it's subtle.
He's
it's
awkward. He's
perfect.
There are moments where he tries to be badass and is instantly shut down. You can see the defeat on his face. You can see
You can see the
basically fear. You
facade of
can
his
see
bravery,
him. It's
too.
so he does it pretty. It's pretty masterful. Like
everyone's performance is masterful. All the side characters,
Everyone
I
works
completely
well
believe
together,
them.
like-
Their chemistry, every character had a chemistry. You felt the bond between them. You felt it through the writing. You felt it through how they acted around each other. There's so many little things that are just absolute
Gosh.
perfection about this movie.
gosh, I can
I
gosh.
don't really
about
have
it.
any bad things to say about it.
I couldn't think of
I
anything.
said my one
I
bad
kept-
thing, and even then, it's not
I
bad
kept
at all.
waiting for.
I was like, is it gonna slow
I kept waiting
down?
for
Are they gonna
something
not
to
nail the
happen where
ending?
I would,
And
I
they
would dislike it, and it never came. And
even like I really liked. I don't know if you could call it an epilogue or not. Like when the narrator takes over towards the end, like a lot of really like interesting Jesse James facts, like that fit, like stuff about like how they would literally like parade his body around, like on ice, like in front of his wife, and people would pay to see. That it was shown alongside the literal seven wonders of the world
Yeah.
It
is
almost has a
insane.
sadness to his wife's character.
Oh, yeah,
She
that's-
can't-
she has to deal with
in her
his
own-
body
in
being
her own
paraded.
home.
Yeah,
She can't live in peace.
and I also liked, in a worse movie, this would have felt like I don't know, not exposition, but just like a straight up description of his character. But it felt fitting for Robert Ford when he was kind of like Robert Ford. He kind of explains who Robert Ford is as a person. And it felt fitting. It felt like it wrapped up his character perfectly.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was trying to explain it. It didn't feel dumb in any way.
Yeah, the little small like the narrator, whatever great narrator voice. I mean, that's not really doing much, but like, I think they brought in the narrator at like great times. Like, it would show like a beautiful shot, and he'd just give some sort of inner thoughts, something that happened off screen. Like, this movie didn't feel the need to show you everything.
Yes.
And I think it picked and chose what it showed, and there was never an instance like, oh, I wish I would have seen that. Like, I was like, oh,
I like
okay.
that the narrator isn't like intrusive. That's
Yeah,
why
he
No, he
fits.
isn't.
Like-
the film works without the narrator. He just adds kind of a cherry on
he
top.
adds
of,
another layer to
Yeah.
how great it is.
And
I don't really,
this film, as much as I feel like it can appeal to most people.
I
I can't think of anyone who wouldn't like. Maybe if you're
Just with
like
the length.
a teenager
Someone-
with a short attention span,
if you're
maybe.
stupid millennial.
I don't know if.
I know,
country
I want
movies
to
aren't
like.
really a thing, but I can see grandparents enjoying this movie.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see
It is very. It is
Adults
also
and-
very reminiscent of like old like westerns.
Yeah.
Like
it is, but it kind of mocks
It's
the
very-
John Wayne-esque character of this flawless badass
The big
character.
burly man.
Yeah, it kind of.
have you guys
Not
seen?
mocks,
Have you
but
guys seen The
it's-
Searchers?
It's
No.
a very smarter look at that type of character. Because, like we've already said, Brad Pitt is not a perfect person, and that's what makes him interesting.
The Searchers is a John Wayne movie where he doesn't play like the perfect superhero, and like a lot of people say it's like his best performance. I saw it. I watched it in my class, and I really loved it.
So
Oh,
stupid.
speaking of, there's a really great video analysis about vocal control in movies.
Mhm.
I think it's by Now You See Me. Definitely go check that out. The vocal control in this movie is fantastic. There's
Yeah.
a scene where there's a scene where Brad Pitt snaps at Robert Ford and his brother for
God,
going
yeah.
off on their own.
Yeah.
And it shook me to the core, and it was just him shouting.
And he rarely even raises his
No,
voice.
he's calm.
His
cool,
laugh-
collected the whole movie.
His laugh is maniacal.
Casey
and
Affleck is the master of like cracking his voice at the right moment, just
Oh,
to
yeah.
give off this. like,
great.
professional-
He played a awkward, like not awkward, but like
He played a coward.
he played the cowardly 20-year-old. Like he played a
Yeah.
kid.
And
Like,
again,
he's a kid.
if you wrote down these roles and gave it to a worse director, a worse
They'd be
screenwriter,
stereotypes.
a worse actors, it could be presented in the most boring,
Stereotypical way.
stereotypical, cliche way.
There's so
where
many
They're all
layers.
characters you've seen before. When in this film, there's a depth to every character. Each character feels real. Like I've said this many times already. At this point, everything feels real about this movie. The set design is fantastic.
I never felt
The
like
atmosphere.
I was
watching
sucked.
a Hollywood movie.
I was sucked
Yeah.
in pretty
It felt
very
like they
early
were-
on.
Me too.
The nature scenes are all incredibly realistic. I felt like they were actually being
towns-
affected by. I hate in movies when they're in the snowy atmosphere and they don't look cold.
Yeah, they fit.
Yeah,
They
everything
changed. They
felt
changed with their
Yeah.
surroundings.
There's a scene where a person's sick and they look incredibly sickly.
That scene was really sad to me. Like just
Yeah.
see like it really showed like where that like a very small like kind of side character like just showing like where he lived like alone with no heat
Mhm.
was really like
just a broken man.
like what
Yeah.
like he doesn't really and we've already talked about the scene where his like death where he's that's like one of my favorite sequences because you can just
No.
see his contemplation of his face like he's like why even try he knows what's going to happen to him why even try and run like he's just going to be executed.
I'm a huge fan. Well, maybe we should all go around and say our favorite scene. Nick,
I don't
what's your
even
favorite
know.
scene?
I really
There's a ton of beautiful.
the scene I
gorgeous
think
scenes
about the
in this
most
movie.
is honestly the scene where he goes after that kid and then just after there's that recollection. It's so great. It's such like a twist too. Like you wouldn't expect to see his character do
It's
that.
like gruesome
Yeah,
without showing much.
When I saw that scene, I thought, "Oh, Jesse James is kind of a monster." But
And
then,
then the
he-
scene right
you
after.
see him weeping into his horse, and
It's
you're
so
like,
great.
"Oh, he's kind of
It's
he's a
such
human
like a-
though. He
it's
is
such a
human."
mystery.
But then he gets right back to business. Like
Yeah.
he gets back on his horse
He
and goes.
tries to recollect himself, pull himself together. And
It's like a crack in that.
That scene like before that I was like I was in the movie I was like this is interesting I'm into it and that's when I was like okay we got something like I like looked around at your guys' reaction to the scene and we were all just like
There's
just
so
like
many
oh my god
great scenes of tension where I was looking around and everyone was so involved in the movie.
yeah like we sometimes we like not gonna lie
We
we
gasp.
like talk during movies and stuff like we commentate on it but like we constantly like when one of us would talk we'd be like shh or like we or it would just be like pure
The
silence.
best would be it just naturally fell silent because we got so invested in the movie. There you go. Really, I can only think of one other movie we watched together that did that. In this, basically the climax of Do the Right Thing. We all
Oh,
fell silent at that scene. There's countless scenes in this movie where we were kind of chatting, and then
like,
it just
something-
fizzled. It didn't fizzle out. It just stopped because we got involved
Like, oh,
in one of
something's gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many dinner scenes done to.
It's hard.
I
Pick
don't.
my favorite scene. Right now, what's standing out to me would be the battle between Jeremy Renner and
Yeah, that seems fantastic.
Dick Little. I think that's
I'm
a
gonna-
fantastic
I'm gonna
scene,
go.
but I'm...
Can I? I'm,
go.
I think I'm gonna go the dinner scene where Robert Ford and Jesse James are sitting opposite each other. Because I think that just shows them like there's so much going on in that scene.
Yes.
Like you can see that Jesse James knows things. You can see that Robert Ford is trying to stand up for himself and just can't. Like so much happens in that like one long continuous scene. Like you think it's gonna end and then he sticks his foot out. It's so everything about that scene was just I was in it.
Yeah, I think that might be one of my favorite scenes too. There's so many great scenes that are probably gonna stick with me for a long time.
That one, and then I would say the one where he's behind him on the horse, and then I think that his actual assassination scene.
His actual assassination for sure. The scene with the child for sure is gonna stick with me. There's so many fantastic.
I want to watch it again.
I want to watch it again, and I would gladly watch it again, despite how long it's running.
I am shocked. I hadn't heard of this movie before.
I heard
was
of it,
recommended.
but it was never on my radar.
I had never heard of it.
I've wanted to watch it for a while. I recently, someone I know said it was like one of their favorite movies, and so I was like, oh, all right, it sounds like something I'd like to watch. And I'm incredibly happy that I did, because I found one of my favorites.
This is probably I'd say No Country for Old Men was probably my favorite Western before this, if you even consider that one. And I think this probably just overtook it.
This is definitely my new favorite Western. I'm not like a Western
me
connoisseur.
neither.
I haven't seen a lot of Western. It's probably honestly one of the weakest categories of movies I've watched.
Yeah.
But it's probably my new favorite. I love it.
Pretty great.
I think it's fantastic. It's honestly one of my favorite movies.
Do we need to
probably.
do scores?
Maybe I might have to watch again before I officially say it's like one of my favorites. But
Do we need to? Are we ready for score? Any
might have
final
to
words?
Nick,
Any
what is
final
your
words
score?
before?
I mean, it's a 10 out of 10. I agree with everything you just said. I just didn't want to repeat it again.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you have anything you want to say.
Come
about
on,
it.
what else could it get? It's a 10 out of 10.
No, I'm saying what other things you want to. If you have any last words you want to say about it.
It's just, I did not expect this movie to be that good. So
Me
it's
either.
such a smack when it's this great.
Such a pleasant surprise.
It's so
I love
pleasant.
that kind of feeling when you weren't expecting. Like, it's a good feeling, like going into something you know everyone loves, and like you know is a masterpiece, and be like, yeah, that was a masterpiece. But when you go into something, you're like, you have no clue what it's gonna be, and then coming out like, oh my god, what did I just watch?
I was expecting surface level and got so much more. That's
Like,
so
I was
awesome.
I was expecting something, and I got something, and I got a little more than what I expected.
A little extra
honestly.
sauce. Yeah, I think we all know our scores.
I'm going to give it my first 10 out of 10 on the show. I think it is a masterpiece.
Can I change my score? I'm giving this one an awesome tacular.
I'm just giving this one a strong 10.
Me too. I'm incredibly confident that it's a 10.
Yeah, me too.
And this also solidified that As Adding Two Knots is a 9 for me. Because I think this movie is a lot better than As
I
Adding
think
Two Knots.
these two movies are very
I can't
different.
compare them, honestly.
Oh, I know,
It's hard
but like the thing with As Added Two Knots, I can think of flaws off the top of my head right now about that movie, and I'm struggling to think of anything I didn't really like in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
I get that.
But that shouldn't necessarily be how you judge a movie.
This is
But
when
you get in the 9 and 10 range, that's all.
Yeah, I'm like
at
9.
times-
I'm like 9.5, 10 for Zed, and I'm like, I'm pretty firm.
When you get in the 9 and 10 range, it will be little things like minor flaws that keep it from.
And I don't
being a
want to.
10
I don't
for
like.
me.
I don't want to look. I don't like looking like have. I don't like feeling the need to look for minor stuff. You know what I mean?
And I don't. Even if I found something in this, I don't think it would change from a 10 because there's so many amazing aspects that would override that immediately.
And just for a movie this like with this runtime to just be able to hold on to that all throughout is really
I
really
was never bored
impressive.
at any
I'm
moment.
surprised it never dragged.
Like,
honestly, it's incredible.
It's impressive.
I think it achieves everything it set out to do, which is another thing about Zed and Two Knots. I'm not sure it fully achieved everything it set out to do. This movie, I think it achieves exactly what it was going for
It's
in
just
a perfect way.
It's a pretty.
honestly.
It's just like a painting. It's just like a piece of art. It's just there.
In a
It's.
flawless way, it achieved everything it set out for. Really,
We just talked about it
honestly.
for 40 minutes.
Oh my god.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh.
So
Speaking of art.
our first certified masterpiece.
Our first one where every person gave it a 10 out of 10.
So nice.
I can say with confidence this was my favorite movie we've watched so far.
Me too.
I can't. I don't know. I just love the Zed and Two Knots so much.
I can't.
It goes
I
between how much I love a unique and personal experience between, well, this is just truly great.
I was
So-
personally invested in this.
I was
movie
I was
the
personally
entire
invested too, but Something about his end too notch just feels so personal.
You gotta watch A Cook the Thief.
It's on my list. I plan on
Maybe,
watching
maybe
it
Nick
this
likes
weekend.
it so much because it was his first Peter Greenaway flick.
Yeah, maybe.
And me and
You
you
never
had
forget
been,
your first
Yeah,
Peter
me
Greenaway.
and
You
you
never
had been
forget the first Green movie.
Me and you had been experienced.
I need to
with
watch
it with
I'm
the cook.
I'm excited to
and-
have time to watch
Me too.
whatever I want.
I plan on watching that this week.
I want to watch like all of his stuff now.
Yeah.
But my Criterion channel is completely full now. So.
We should do like.
There's so much.
Have you ever seen like there's ways to like watch stuff together? Have you seen that?
Yeah, rave.
So I saw a different website, but I think that would be fun to do sometime.
That would be fun. Just a recommendation if you're a listener. If you've been renting like half of the movies we've watched, most of them are on Criterion Channel.
Very good deal.
Very great.
Definitely check out Criterion Channel. It can be a little hard to find movies if you put a little effort into it.
Yeah.
They have hundreds upon hundreds of gems on there, so definitely go
It'll
check
take
out Criterion
take you
Channel.
years to get through all that.
It's
Yeah.
gonna take you a while
And
to
they're
even find it
constantly-
dark, honestly.
They're constantly adding new,
They have
cool,
Baxter.
interesting things.
Extra we need to watch.
We haven't watched Baxter yet.
That'd be fun
we're very
commentary.
excited
That'd be
for
fun
that.
commentary episode.
Maybe.
But I mean, definitely if you've been watching along and your wallet is feeling a little empty because
You
of
need to
us,
donate to us. I mean, you need
First
some-
off, save that money, give to us,
so we don't sound like we're.
so we're
Sorry.
in a cave the whole episode.
All right, we got
And
to.
secondly,
We have to move.
What's secondly?
go buy the Criterion Channel.
Yeah,
Alright,
if you have
great.
if you have a buddy,
Go help them out because I don't want them to get no money and
And f-
crash, and I won't be able to.
and if you
watch
want
their
like
wonderful
some
British
suggestions, go definitely follow us on Letterboxd. I think Nick should get on Letterboxd because I think people following us would like to look.
anymore. By the time
and
this
see-
episode comes out, I'll be caught up with everything.
By the time this episode comes out, we'll probably have more stuff on Letterboxd.
I've
I
been
keep a giant list of everything I watch. I'm just way behind on Letterboxd right now.
yeah
so I'm
I've
catching
been
up right now.
I didn't really I just kind of kept up from when I got Letterboxd. I didn't want to go back because I feel like anything
Mhm.
before then I kind of would just want to rewatch to rescore.
Yeah, I started Letterboxd in like October, and I started doing all the movies I'd seen from the start of that summer on because I didn't want to go back. My list goes back to like 2018 summer, and I didn't want to put up my scores for those movies because it's very likely that even in that small amount of time I've changed my view on them. So I just did from the start of summer of 2019 on.
Yeah,
This is
so
what my
go
reviews
look at
are,
ours.
so
We'll
go check
have
'em
we
out.
have, and Letterboxd also has great like curated lists of stuff that will probably have great recommendations. That's where I find a lot of my stuff on there. Watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, some tips, but let's move on.
Oh, by the way,
Oh my
we're
God.
talking about 3 movies this episode.
Yeah,
I
there's
know we're
two-
45 minutes
oh,
in.
There's
already.
2 more to go.
Um,
Hopefully, we have not a lot to say.
Yeah. This might be
We'll
a lengthy
see.
one.
This might be. You're in
folks.
for
I hope
an
you've
extra
been
treat.
entertained So
This
far.
is gonna be an assassin.
So we're gonna move on to mine, which is
Fuck, I should probably pull up my movie.
after
Oh,
many failed picks,
Wait, you picked
I-
all that jazz, right?
I picked Amélie. I think it's pronounced. It's French. Sorry to any French listeners out there if I pronounced it wrong.
Who directed?
Directed by
Pretty
one
famous director,
Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Apparently,
know.
this was shot in over 80 Parisian locations, which is pretty interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a rom-com sort of comedy drama.
I would say
it's
it's
hard
a
to
rom-com.
specify exactly what this is.
I would say it's a kind of dark rom-com.
Yeah, dark-ish.
It's
dark
about-
rom-com.
It deals with dark tones.
It's about a girl who's
Dark things happen. It's
Dark
not a
things
dark
do.
movie.
It's
about
not dark. It's just dark things.
It's about a girl whose mom died pretty early on, pretty tragic circumstances.
Spoiler.
Well, I hope
Pretty
they
funny circumstances.
pretty
It's so
really funny
fucked up.
circumstances, but also fucked up.
I was like, oh my god, really?
And she
The chances.
she seems to be suffering with some sort of anxiety. I took it,
Yeah.
and she decides to make it her mission to just help all the people around her, make their lives better, and in that process, she also sets on a journey to communicate and get with what a man she fancies. It's hard to describe the plot of this one. It's just it's like a bunch of side quests of her
Yeah.
Yeah,
of her
there's no
doing
like
fun
narrative
stuff.
push.
What'd you
There
guys?
is kind of, but it's a bunch of.
What'd you guys think of
loosely
this one?
connected side
I'm
plots.
interested.
You start. I started last time.
I liked it. I didn't love it. There's aspects of it that really annoyed me. There's aspects I really liked. I don't think it's a fantastic movie, but I think there's really, really good parts. So I'm kind of in the I liked it range.
Let's move on to Nick.
I really liked it. It's a charming movie. I really like the charm of this movie. I think the editing is super outdated and it was annoying.
Kind of.
And
there's
a
some
number of
moments. There's
very
some
annoying
There's some
moments in
really
this
weird
movie.
moments that remind me of like
Yeah, just some little some quirky.
A little
quirks.
Wes
CGI.
Anderson-y vibes.
the CGI also really annoyed me.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the CGI.
It's gone.
You could make the argument that it was
It's for the
intentionally cartoony.
But God.
It still looks terrible.
Yeah.
It annoyed me. There's a lot of quirky, jokey moments that annoyed
Just
me.
not gonna let me get mine.
Oh yeah, what did you think?
That's how I feel.
I'm right with you. I liked it. I definitely didn't hate it. I definitely didn't love it, but like I didn't like not enjoy my time watching it. Like I had a good time watching it.
Yeah, I had a
like,
fun time watching it.
like,
Oh, can we talk about the timestamp thing? How long this movie is?
we don't know how long
We
this
don't know-
movie
we
is.
don't know what.
Me
the
and Nick
actual
watched it on
length of this
HBO.
is.
I think you
Yeah.
watched it on HBO, right? And it was a little over 2 hours.
It was like 2 hours.
2:08.
2 hours and 9 minutes.
2 hours
is
and
the HBO
9
version.
minutes.
Yes.
And
If you Google Amélie runtime, it's 2 hours and 3 minutes, and the version I
Sure.
watched was an hour and 56 minutes.
mine says 2:09 when I Google it.
Did you Google Amélie runtime?
I'm looking at it.
Google Amélie runtime.
Well, that's not ever where I see the runtime. I just Google the movie.
Yeah,
And
like
it shows up.
I have my movie up right now.
Well,
It says
for
an hour
me,
55.
I realized I was watching a shorter version.
2.03. That doesn't mean
Yeah, that's not.
if you do the math. Carter having some more math
More
problems.
math problems. I'm not coming off of this. Had a budget. Oh no, this movie made bank.
Yeah, it was
It's
a huge
pretty-
hit.
It was
was
a
a hit.
pretty huge movie.
It got Oscars for screenplay.
Yeah.
I would agree with
Let's. I'm gonna.
I think the best part of this movie is how it looks.
It really looks great.
beautiful.
Looks
Really
gorgeous.
looks beautiful.
Looks fantastic.
That
It's a
sound.
great
I like
unique
this.
style.
I like the score.
Soundtrack is very
I liked
good.
it.
It
I
fits
really
the
like
tone.
it.
It's very
I
sweet.
just liked how I like how like I looked at it as a story of like a girl with like who kind of suffered from like social anxiety
Mm-hmm.
in a way, and I
She didn't
really
go anymore.
I kind of really liked how they handled it and how they told the story around that,
very
and like
sweet way. There's
like I found myself connecting to her at many points. Like it was like it was a very personal story. I love how like she had to go out of her way to like try and like talk to these people, talk to this man, like the most like bonkers thing. There's
Yeah.
a scene where she's like watching the TV and it's like, oh, you're never gonna do anything if you don't just get out there. And, like
That's
I just
really
connected. I really just connected to a lot of things that were going on. A lot of like
a very sweet scene. I don't know why this stood out to me, but I thought it was like a very revealing but cute and sweet scene, kind of sad in a lot of way. There's a scene. It's like just a quick montage of her having sex with someone, and she just like has this
emotionless.
not emotion. I felt like she was trying to be happy
Yeah.
to make him
Yeah, it was
feel
really
good.
it was really
And I
s-
got that
sad
vibe from her,
moments.
and I felt like she's not enjoying it, but she's such a sweet soul that she's trying to make him feel like she is.
I think that's the only time this movie handled sex well. All the other sex jokes really kind of dumb to me.
I was
just laughing too hard at
I
the one at
was
the bar.
confused
On the bar, like
at
I was like,
how
okay.
this movie treated sex. Because after I saw that, I thought, oh, that's like a very sweet,
and then they
innocent
did
look
really
at
just
how
like wow,
sex,
and I was like,
And
okay.
the rest of it felt weirdly immature.
Yeah, I
and
didn't. I was
felt
kind of
like
put
they
off.
almost tried to make a statement about it in some ways, and then I was just kind of confused
I was a little put off.
by the
Some of the
whole thing.
humor stuff kind of put me off.
That-
Like I was a little annoyed at times.
The main thing that kept me back from loving this movie would be, it's definitely trying to be quirky in a lot of aspects. It's definitely
I did not
trying
mind
to
it.
be,
I don't think a lot of.
it bothered
I
me
think
in
some of the
moments, and I think-
humor was, but I don't think a lot of the dialogue to me came off
Yeah.
as kind of genuine. Like
Yeah,
It's genuine for
the
a while.
way
the way it was presented,
presented
was more
was also
the
trying
quirks.
to be quirky.
That came off as more trying to be quirky than like the dialogue itself.
Oh yeah,
I
me
like.
too.
For this
That and the
movie-
humor, a lot of the
For this
visual
movie, I
humor
didn't
was, like,
mind it
especially.
being quirky. Like it actually
Oh
worked
no
for me really well.
I didn't hate it.
Like,
there were
usually I
some like
don't
couple
like that stuff,
annoying
but I
things.
was
Like nothing really besides like the sex scenes. Nothing really stands out as being like something I can think back to and be like, oh, that was really dumb. You know what I mean? I didn't take notes like you.
I just think back to those CGI.
What was
paintings in high
this?
school.
What was the CG?
There was like the photo that
elephant
talked to
thing?
each
Talk to
other.
him. Oh, okay.
They have like this
The
big
imaginary
shot
friends?
of the imaginary friend.
Oh,
yeah. That never comes back
Yeah,
either.
and
I took that as that was what they were
there's
going
a
for.
scene where you can see like her heart start glowing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't mind that.
That was a little
It
dumb.
just didn't work
It's a little
for
dumb,
me.
but like.
I really liked the ID photo book from the photo booth. I thought it was
thought
really
that was-
cool.
Did you
That was fun.
Really,
did
like,
you watch the
unique
end
thing.
credits?
No, not
They
that
had
one.
all the characters in that format.
Oh, that's
I thought that was
cool.
really cool.
I
That's
liked-
lots of little presentation
she
stuff
sees
about
herself
this.
on the TV, and I thought that was a sweet moment.
Yeah.
There's just like there's stuff I really enjoy like that, and then there's stuff that got under my nerves for some reason, and I thought was kind of obnoxious and
I
annoying.
liked it more than I didn't think I was gonna like it very much.
Yeah,
Like
same.
I was like bummed out that I had to
Maybe
pick.
that's what I thought I would really like it. 'Cause
Oh,
I've
really?
been meaning to see this movie for a while, and I've heard great things, and that's why when I didn't really love it, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, I get that. I wasn't going in expecting too much, and I was like slightly pleasantly surprised. Like I was like, oh, this like it was sweet, like it was charming.
Mm-hmm.
I personally related to it more than I thought I would.
I think we've
I really
used
liked
sweet
that.
like 50 times.
That's the best way to
But
describe
yeah,
it.
it's
Charming,
a
sweet,
movie.
like-
I can see maybe that's why I was kind of turned off by the sexual stuff too.
It didn't
is
fit.
It didn't fit.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
fit with the tone of the
And
movie. It's
like when she's having sex with the guy in
It's
the
very-
montage,
it's handled very well.
it is like a sweet moment. But then the rest of it is handled in this very immature way that didn't fit with the sweetness of the movie. Because otherwise, I'd be like, yeah, watch this movie with like your 12-year-old would
Yeah.
probably enjoy this movie. But then you add that stuff into it, and you're kind of like,
especially with
I don't know
going
how
back to
I feel about
going
it.
back to sweet.
Especially with a lot of the humor being pretty childish.
yeah, like the entire like messing with the house stuff. I thought was really funny.
That was really
It
funny.
feels like a youthful.
I liked her
Kitty
messing with
There's
the
movie.
one
house.
great joke where like she tries to call his mother and it's turned to the psychiatric center. That's so good.
I know.
good.
I really
That-
liked all that. It was
yeah.
like weird Home Alone stuff.
Yeah, but that it feels like a children's movie.
It does
which
feel
is
like a
why the
children's
sexual
movie.
stuff turned me off so much.
Yeah, no,
and why I
I-
liked
I
that
agree.
one shot with her having sex because that was like a sweet childish look
Hot.
at the event.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like that was
I-
the one moment where it was presented in the way that under
Yeah.
her view of what it was, and that's where I liked it.
The
But
bar
the
scene was
rest of
just
it
absolutely
just seemed
ridiculous.
Weird. I say immature. It
I
was
didn't say
immature.
ridiculous in a bad way. I thought it was funny.
It
I thought it was really funny.
I don't think
but
it was-
does come off as
It
weird.
was
It was
immature
kinda
in
out
the
of
way
place.
that a edgy
very-
13-year-old would be immature after what, like when
Just
she
like
goes
all
in the porno
loud
shop.
sex.
It wasn't cute anymore, and it wasn't sweet, and the rest of the movie is very cute and sweet, and it really turned me off.
Jump-
And there'd be little moments like that throughout that kind of turned me
Jumping
off.
off that, I think her character. I really loved her
I
character.
loved her character.
Yes.
I like. She played it very well.
It's
like
not like the most deep character, but I think she just.
She's just
And-
such a nice soul.
Yeah.
It's so fun
I
to
just had so much fun watching her going around and
Me
just
too.
like doing these
Mhm.
little like it's
She's-
such a simple
You're like
movie.
rooting
It's-
for her.
It's like
yeah.
it's so
Very
simple.
simple.
It's just her going around with like one like loose plot line throughout. It's just
Like,
her
she
going
helps-
around
She helps
helping
one
people.
person, and then like it just
It's such
changes
like a
her life.
homeless-
It's so
it's
nice.
Yeah,
like-
there's not like a linear story to this.
But
it's
it's-
kind of just her doing things.
But it's also like
And it
sad because
works,
you're
it's
like
still entertaining.
like she's helping all these other people, but like she can't.
She can't
She's
help
still
herself.
unhappy herself.
Well,
Like,
she gets it in that.
and I know, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying it
the why
is.
it has a happy ending.
And of
Yeah.
course, it has to have a happy ending. If it
If
didn't,
this
I'd
movie
be like,
had like
what?
a dark
She
nihilistic
just
ending,
kills herself.
I would.
I'd be like, oh my god. This isn't
this
working.
movie would be terrible.
Yeah.
Like it did the cheesy thing where like the guy comes last second, but I was like,
Yeah.
And then
You know
them
what?
on them on a motorcycle or bike is
With
like
the most insane-
stereotypical.
I liked how
ending.
that looked.
But it looked nice.
It looks nice, but
The last shot of her, just like her smile, was really nice.
Yeah, it's
really
Honestly,
sweet.
I would rather watch a Wes Anderson movie than this.
Oh, me too.
And I
Me
think
too,
they're
but,
both
like,
kind of going for the same vibe. I think Wes Anderson does
Definitely
a
does it
lot of
better.
it better. By better, I mean he's more consistent tonally,
Mhm.
and I think I don't know, he's more of an adult filmmaker than this.
Mhm.
This felt kind of like a 15-year-old girl making a movie.
Yeah.
At times, which works for a lot of it, but also leads to some moments that I kind of cringed at. I kind of thought were obnoxious, a little annoying.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
I mean, I think we've covered all the bases.
I
A
liked
lot
it.
of repetition.
I thought we
But-
we talked about it more than I thought we would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of just there.
I know I sound like a negative Nancy, but I did
I was
like
actually
the
positive,
movie.
yeah.
I did like
Yeah.
the movie.
Scores?
How are you feeling?
Nick,
Always starts with me. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
This is gonna
We're
be
in
round.
unity today.
This is gonna be the Unity round.
We'll
Maybe
see.
this will change
maybe.
it. My movie is Audition.
After my ringing endorsement of Gozu, Nick said,
Curious. I think Carter has to go first in this one.
For our, I picked one of my personal interested directors, Takashi Miike.
I was already interested in this movie. I've heard.
I really liked Gazu.
I had heard
So,
of this.
I did too.
I wanted to see it, and then I watched Gazu, and I had no desire at all.
So
'cause
let's talk
if
about
you've been
the
a
plot.
podcast listener, you know I hate Gozu or Gazu. So
I did.
let's talk
I had
about
to.
the plot.
I had to double check
Yeah.
to make sure it was the same director.
This is about this poor guy, Ayami. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I don't remember.
this
Yeah.
poor
His-
guy.
His wife-
Really?
well, I feel bad for him in the beginning of the movie.
That's when you're supposed to feel hatred for him the most.
What?
Oh, okay. I guess we're gonna have some
Alright,
discussion about
just
this one.
continue.
Well, his wife dies. It's sad.
Oh, the very
Yeah, that's
That's what I'm
beginning.
talking- What do you
Okay.
think I was talking about?
Thought you just
I didn't
meant him
know.
In general,
I'm
He
trying
is
to do
not
the
this
twist the
poor
movie
guy.
does,
Okay.
I guess so.
God.
Let him finish. I was like, Nick,
Jumping on
sexist alert.
Jumping on my back.
Beep, 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 beep.
No, this guy, he's riddled with grief. But then his weird dick of a friend, Asami, I think his name is.
Son also.
No, his name's not Asami. That's the girl.
What kind-
Doesn't matter.
No,
Doesn't
I
matter.
want to
They
talk
hold-
about that a little.
They
Talk
hold
about
a fake.
His friend a little.
They hold a fake audition
I'll explain.
for a fake movie so he can find a new wife.
Oh, and they made sure the movie had sex scenes in it too.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like, this sounds like an innocent rom-com, and then they were like, we made sure to have lots of sex scenes, and I was like, oh, this is some weird perverted sex thing, isn't it? But anyways,
It's
keep
so
going. Sorry.
grimy and weird. But he finds a girl. He thinks he finds the perfect girl, but we've learned she's a little not perfect.
Let's leave it at that.
Yes, let's leave it at that so we can discuss. Carter, what did you think of Audition?
I loved Audition.
I loved Audition too.
Audition too,
I
baby.
okay.
I love this movie.
It's
Let
so
me. Let's.
good.
I was so
I-
excited. I was.
I retain my hatred for Gozu. I think that movie's a piece of shit. And me watching this movie
Shock.
made me feel even stronger about how much I hate for Gozu. Because I realized he could do what he...
Oh my
Kind of.
god. This
Okay.
I realized he could do what I wanted him to do this whole
Can I
time.
do a quick timeout?
He just chose not to for Gozu,
Okay.
and I hate it.
I was really hoping you would love it because I was excited to rave about this, and I was hoping it wouldn't be just me. I knew Nick was gonna love it.
Oh, yeah,
And I was like, I was like, I really hope I don't have to argue for this movie. I'm so glad you loved it.
No, I loved it.
This
It
is
was-
right up my alley, man.
This
are
movie-
we gonna go around and... I don't have many negatives.
Let me say some. I love.
I have.
I
have
Oh,
negatives.
this
there's
move-
definitely
there's some
problems
things-
with this movie, but
There's some. Okay. A lot of it. The way this movie like almost shifts genres. It
Yeah,
reminded
this movie
me.
tricks you.
It reminded me of. I don't want to like spoil Parasite. I'm not gonna go into detail, but
It
like
reminded me
it
of Parasite,
reminded me
yeah.
of Parasite. I was like,
watched
oh my
This
god.
movie with my girlfriend,
So did I.
and it was about 40
I
minutes
watched
in. The
it
first
alone.
time you see the girl with the body bag,
It's so.
Terrifying.
and Renee was like, "Oh my god, I forgot this was supposed to be a horror movie."
I did.
It was a rom-com in the
It sets
beginning.
up as a rom-com, which fits with the themes
And then-
of the
yeah,
movie, which is
boom.
genius. It reminded me kind of the way Mulholland Drive. Have
Don't
you guys
spoil
seen
it. I haven't seen it.
I've not
Right,
seen
then never
Mulholland
mind. Ignore
Don't
it.
spoil
Scratch
it.
that from your brain.
Fuck, I can't-
There's some. Can we talk about how like scary this movie
This
is
movie-
first?
This movie's terrifying.
There's a shot when the first time she gets out of the taxi. Do you remember this? Where she just stands there.
Yeah, she just stands
and
at
he
the end
drives
of the
away.
road.
She just stands the same place she
It's
got
so
out and stares,
unsettling.
and it's so subtle and
when I
terrifying.
started to be really creeped out by the movie is when there's a scene where he's talking to her at dinner, and it's going completely normal like any rom com would go. He's talking to the setup of this movie is like a romantic comedy.
Yes.
And then so he's
fucked
talking to
up
her,
one,
it's
huh?
going normal,
It'd be really.
and then it kind of something happened.
You're talking about the edit hitch?
it edits out.
Yes!
And
It's so weird.
I thought it was a glitch. I was like, can we rewind that? What just happened?
I
There's
watched
glitch.
and I was like, I love this.
And then it edits out and there's no one in the restaurant.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so.
And
I was like,
I turned to Renee and was like, "Why is there's no one anywhere? There were cars going by. There's no more car. It's an empty, completely empty."
and then I think you find out later that
it
that was
cuts
a
back. It cuts back to a different restaurant.
yeah.
Yes.
They're cutting from scene to scene, and it's unsettling. It's disturbing.
So I liked Gozu,
This-
but I liked Gozu as like a fun like romp thing. This like
This is not a fun
this
movie.
this like
In any way.
this like
Oh my God.
toned
It's not fun.
it like toned that style in, perfected it, and like
It made it an actual
did it-
serious movie.
it was
with
like
a purpose.
I was like, did the Gozu guy really do this? I was like shocked.
Feels
Like I
like
liked
something-
Gozu, but I was like, this is not the same.
It
This is
feels
totally
like
different.
Something like a master of
Horror.
filmmaking and horror would make, and not something who made a giant messy movie like Gozu would make.
It's
It
like
felt like something David Lynch would make.
so I'm gonna say some little things first. The score. I love the
I
score.
love the score.
I
Super
I
subtle, but
tried
it's
to find the score anywhere. Like I spent like probably like 15, 30 minutes
guarantee
looking
you
for it.
can't find
I
this.
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I could find the theme and that's it. The theme by itself is pretty great.
Yes.
But like the score is used so subtly. Like the piano, I loved.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I watched it with my girlfriend too. And she's like, "This is pretty." Like in the beginning, it's like, "This is a pretty movie." It looks great. It really looks.
It has
It
every
looks so
element of
great.
romantic comedy in it. It's got the side buddy. It's
Yeah.
a
It's
got
single
everything.
dad with a kid.
And then
it's like there's a goofy scene of all the girls trying out and like some strip.
Pretty
and
fucked
it's
up.
like,
Yeah.
It's like it's silly.
It also has
And
this
then
disturbing edge to it too, because you
and-
know this the underlying. It's just like
because
this,
it's like
this
it's
is
a
wrong.
really scummy thing.
and then it
that
and then
brings me to
one
of the-
and then it one cut to like her weird neck,
Oh god.
her like spine sticking out as she hovers over that phone. I was like, oh.
And then
I
just the
for-
smile on her face as
Yeah.
the phone rings.
the phone rings. I was like,
It's-
do not call him.
It descends into chaos in the third act, and it almost lost me there, but then it pulls it together in the end.
Yes.
With the torture scene,
Oh.
which is unbearable.
One of the that for me, it was harder to watch that than Antichrist. I'm dead serious when I say that.
When she started sawing his foot off,
Yeah.
I don't know, it doesn't look that
And
great, but the sound design mixed
That-
with her face, mixed with
There's
his
a
reaction,
weird mix
is
of
so
like
fantastic.
humor in the torture scene. Also,
And it made it worse for me. It made it
the humor
it made-
did.
It
Oh,
made it
do
worse
you mean-
for me emotionally. Like I felt sick to my stomach after.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like you didn't like it. Like I
No,
really,
loved
like I was
it
like,
made
this
it
is.
more effective.
Can we,
because
like-
she is taking such pleasure.
Before
in
we
it.
go to the torture
Yeah.
scene, can we rewind back to the dream sequence?
It's still
with one of the most
incredible.
fucked up things him
The-
eating the throw up.
Throw up.
That
It's
was
so
one of the most
disgusting.
fucked up. Like my girlfriend got through it. That was the time she had to turn away. That was one of the most fucked up things I've seen in a movie.
That-
like
and
seeing
that scene
her.
alone is
The
just-
dream sequence is bonkers, and I loved every minute of that
I
dream
remember.
sequence.
I remember before I watched this movie, it clicked. There was like reviews on the side, and one of them was like, "Warning: not for the faint of heart."
I was like,
And
okay.
I was like, okay, I heard this is kind of a torture movie, but I've seen mostly
But it's
everything.
really not. It's like
It's not a torture movie. There is a.
probably the
It's
most.
gotta be 10 minutes long.
It's
Yeah.
slow.
It
It's
feels like
methodical. His acting in
His
that
acting
torture
is
scene
fantastic.
is incredible.
One
Like
of the things that kind of didn't work. Some of the acting is incredible in the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the side characters aren't
Yeah.
that great. His
Like,
song isn't that great.
I didn't think the one like girl at his office was that great
No.
either.
No, she was not.
There's a wonderful edit where he's getting a blowjob from the girl, and
From the
it's
girl.
all of a sudden the
Yeah.
girl from work.
That
and
I want to go into
that
some of
felt
the.
like a dream.
I want
A
to go
dream.
into some of the underlying themes
The
about
final
this.
dream sequence. Well, that's another thing I love about Audition, and one of the reasons I hate Gozu.
This is an
This
incredibly
movie
feminist movie.
Yeah.
It has a purpose too.
Yes.
I actually felt like the director was trying to say something with this movie and had a message,
And he nailed it.
It wasn't just craziness because craziness is cool.
Mhm.
It was there was a purpose to everything that you're being shown. I feel like.
He nailed the theme he
or
was going
if
for.
there isn't, it just served to unsettle you even more, and it worked completely.
It
for me.
okay, so this movie the first half of this movie is as it's playing like a rom-com. It's
genius.
the girl. Just let me get into. It's the girl. That whole time, the girl is chasing him, having to get after him
Yes,
because the man
yeah.
is on top. and then it shifts and it's literally the man chasing him, and then it completely flips the normal like girl being tortured like sexual fantasy thing on its head by making the most like it completely flips this movie around. I think it's so genius. The dream sequence where he's being literally he's facing all of the demons of girls he's wronged in the past. It's so well done. It's so interesting.
This is gonna bring me to one of my main problems, I guess, with the movie is, although it's kind of from his perspective, so I don't know how much you can actually criticize it for this. I wish his best friend got some kind of retribution. His work buddy got some kind of retribution.
Yeah, but
he's kind of forgotten about by the end of the movie. I wish he got some sort of...
I guess. I just don't know how that would have fit into it.
Like I said, it's not a big
Nick.
criticism. I wish they could have figured out some way. I don't have any suggestions. It works still.
Yeah.
It's mostly from his perspective. You go inside his dreams. I was fine with that. But, I mean, it's just like something I would have wanted is to see some sort of retribution for him. It's hard to watch. If you're not like a horror... If you're not a huge horror fan, I can't see you sitting...
I was really surprised that, like, my girlfriend got through it.
You could trick someone into believing this is a rom-com for the first half an hour if you're an evil, vicious person. And
there you go, John.
And
I gave her a warning.
Because it's subtly dark for a while.
And then it
just drops you into madness. And then once you're in the madness... It's like, alright, we're gonna break from it, and then you just get into the worst, most brutal part of the movie, which is when she's torturing him.
And so Antichrist is, like, a lot of people widely consider that, but it's like...
If we ever get A again, I'm going to pick Antichrist, because it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Antichrist is, like, there's, like, 2 or 3 scenes of the like, some of the highest brutality I've ever seen in a movie, but it's quick, and it's over.
You can tell me.
I mean, like, graphic violence-wise.
I would say the third act of Antichrist gives this act a run for its money. One thing I would say.
I know, but I'm saying violence-wise.
I would say violence-wise too. She screws at the. No, I don't want to spoil Antichrist. But I would say the thing Antichrist has that's a leg above this movie is it looks real. And I would say part of the problem for some of the torture scenes in this movie is that, especially when you see his severed foot, it doesn't look particularly real. It's a little goofy looking. She throws against the window. That's
what I'm saying. I love the humor, like the light tones of humor in it.
Weirdly humorous, which sometimes makes it a more unsettling experience towards the end, especially.
Let's talk. Let's talk about that too. I mentioned his acting, but like the pain on his face without him being able to scream was like. Yeah. That was one of the hardest things I've ever to watch.
You can see like the veins
every
popping on
individual, like you see.
Her acting is fantastic in that scene.
You see the first needle like puncture, and then it cuts to his face, and you see every he's like deeper, like the very like it's like oh my god, she's not.
It's a haunting scene,
and it's just
can we talk about my favorite?
You see her, but like you see her tool bag. If she hadn't gotten interrupted, it's just like where would she have gone from there? Yeah. Like I was.
Well, and you see the result from the other guy, you're just like, oh, bye.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that.
The guy who's forced to eat.
I'd never seen, like, a tongue cut out like that in a movie, and it was just so...
It's so...
gross. The set of her...
The sets
are so well done.
Yeah, lighting.
It's so great.
I love it.
My favorite scare is probably when, like, he gets back to bed after thinking, like, he's gone through all this torture, and you just hear, like, that soul, like... And it goes right back.
Yes. I actually loved that it was a dream. Because it's like, she's in your head now.
Yeah,
it's not
so
real
great.
Torture, it's in your head, but you still feel it. And
it like makes you think that this guy is gonna... It's like, is this guy gonna get out of this? And then like, nope.
There's no escape because whenever he falls asleep, she'll be in his dreams. And she loves him. He's stuck with her in real life too. So even if she's this movie could be seen as like Mal guilt for the way he's treated women.
It's incredibly,
or it could be seen as this bizarre feminist.
I take it as a really feminist movie.
It is a feminist movie either way you look at it, but one way is from you look at the movie from her perspective, which is she's been constantly abused and tortured sexually by men all her life.
Okay,
she's finally getting back at them. That's a simplistic approach.
Yeah.
I feel like
There's deeper layers.
there's definitely layers of he feels guilt for the way he's treated all of these
This-
women the whole
yeah.
time.
This is definitely gonna be like I'm gonna like rewatch this one like
It
every
questions,
Halloween
like-
from now on.
Yeah.
Like
It
this
questions
is
like uncontrollable sexual desires you have, and if
I don't know if I could watch this movie for a while. Though,
I need to
'cause
I think I
Can we talk
It's
about
a
another
lot.
really like when he first goes and sees wheelchair guy?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, like when he's hunched over that, I
the
was like,
prosthetics of his feet kind of made me.
I'm
took
talking
me
about
out
when
of
you
it a little.
first see
Didn't
when
take
he
me out.
first
I like
walks
that.
in.
I didn't think it looked good. I think it looked cool.
I think it just looks
didn't look
bizarre.
scary.
It's
and
great.
kind of took me
When he
out of
first
it.
walks in and just see him hunched over in the corner,
Yeah.
it looks like Bloodborne. Like it reminded me of like some sort of like Bloodborne stage.
Bloodborne flashbacks.
And then like when you see him like crawling towards her with the, I was like, is he
Yeah.
gonna do some weird?
It's
It is weird.
This movie is like fucked. Like this is one of those.
it's genius how it tricks you into forgetting it's a horror movie. It's
Yeah.
genius the descent into madness.
I just want
The
to
messaging.
kind of go on a rant
I
at the
think
cover
there's
stuff.
it's there's a purpose to it, and that's why I think it works so well, and that's why I hate Gozu is because I feel like there's no purpose
This made
to
this made
anything.
me appreciate Gozu less because I saw what this guy could do.
I still appreciate.
Yeah.
it.
I would still watch Gozu as a fun thing, but I was like, oh, this
Like
is
I just
when I was
see
looking
this
at
is like
I was
this is like
I'm
I just
going into
separate
this
them
with
as
an
their own
open mind,
movies.
and maybe if I like this, I'll like Gozu more. And ended up being opposite. I really liked this, and for those reasons, I liked Gozu a lot less than I already did.
this.
Because I realized he's capable of making that kind of movie with a purpose, and with it's a much better looking movie.
It looks. I
Gozu, it
loved
looks
how this movie
fantastic.
looks. Sounds.
The sound design is just haunting and unsettling
God.
at times.
Mhm.
There's some really bizarre editing that adds to this
Works.
uncomfortable feeling.
Dream
this
sequence.
surrealist feeling of the movie. The two lead performances from the girl and the man are great. Again, I said some of the side performances don't work.
Yeah.
Some of the dialogue is a little choppy.
I didn't even hate them that much, but
Nothing was stood out to me as being terrible.
this like really like I haven't been like truly like scared or like haunted by a movie in a long time, and this like a horror movie. Like I've watched like depressing movies that stick with me, but like the imagery of this movie is gonna stick with me for like a while, and it really
Yeah.
quickly became like probably one of my favorite horror movies ever.
Honest-
Like honestly,
Honestly, I haven't seen a movie probably since, I guess maybe Irreversible, that has made me want to not watch Seeing as much as
I
the
was
torture scene
it
in
was
this film.
hard to
I never want
watch.
to watch Irreversible again.
Yeah, Irreversible might be one of the lowest of the low movies I've seen.
I need to watch
I actually
that.
think to its fault sometimes.
Sometimes it's just.
We'll talk about
impossible.
Irreversible
I think
some
this- I
future
I guess so.
episode
Yeah.
far
Maybe
down.
if we get 9.
I mean, I like the movie, but
I
I
do
do
too.
have flaws with it.
Um,
This movie, I obviously have flaws with it too. But the torture scene, I think there's a real purpose to it, so it's not gratuitous in any way. I don't think. Some people probably will make the argument that it's gratuitous. I
You
don't
can
think
always
so.
make that argument. but-
His when you see the son walk in and he sees his eyes, I
It
thought
was
I
just-
thought I thought she went like in under
I
the
did too,
eyelid.
and
I was like that. I was like,
oh.
oh, eye stuff. Like, and then I was like, oh, she just went under it. Even that, like,
Even that grossed me out.
I'm not a huge needlephobe, or I'm
I
not
am.
hugely
I
scared of
hate
but
needles.
this like
But it's still really. What more affected me was her sawing the foot off.
Oh, God,
Even
yeah.
though it didn't look that realistic,
But
the
seeing
sound of it, and
his face is what did it for me for the most part, because you could, and when she's like, oh, this drug makes your skin, I was like,
felt
oh,
his
this
pain.
is the worst torture. She is like targeting nerves. This is the worst, most meticulous torture imaginable.
Yeah. She would say like, "This is the worst, the most painful spot
Like,
I could put
oh
the
my
needle in,
God.
and this is the second worst spot I could put the needle in."
And he couldn't say anything. Like he had to. He couldn't
His
scream.
son
He couldn't
showed
do
up and he couldn't say how to
couldn't-
call the police or even run because she planned on torturing the son too. And then you realize it was all in his head, and in a lot of cases that would have been a dumb twist. But in this film, I felt like it added a whole
Yeah.
other layer of
Yeah.
he'll never actually be able to escape her because she haunts his dreams. She's stuck. She haunts his minds, and he's stuck seeing her smiling, beautiful face every day when he
Every
wakes
time
up.
he thinks about a woman or how he's treated in the past, he's gonna think of that.
Yeah,
And that's-
no, but he's stuck with her in real life too. But she'll be this kind, sweet, loving lady which is adding this extra layer of feminist irony to the film too, of behind this facade that all these women have to put up with, of being this happy, loving, I'll give out, I'm yours, this character for their husband, especially in Japanese countries and Asian cultures, where it's bad in America. It's far worse in those types of cultures.
Let's let Nick
where
do
that's
his...
encouraged. I mean, it's really kind of genius in a lot of that respect, especially considering how it ropes you in with the romantic comedy premise and execution. I love that. I love that.
Let's let Nick do his...
If you know me, you know horror is my favorite genre. I absolutely love horror movies.
Horror guy here.
That's why I usually choose horror movies. Because
Why don't you just look in the mirror?
Why don't you just shut the fuck up? This guy doesn't like gossip.
Let me get off top real quick.
You know what? I quit the podcast.
Good riddance.
Whatever, you'll never see an audition
Anyways,
again.
Let's go on the...
I'll see Audition again. I'm gonna do my own. I'm announcing my own auditions.
Wait,
They want
are
to
there
sign
any
up.
American remakes of this movie? Because they're probably really dumb.
But, as I was saying, I love
Probably.
horror, but even I can admit sometimes it just gets too dumb, or it just tries not to have a message just for the sake of scares. But I think what's genius about this movie, it kind of flips horror on its genre, on its head with having the female as almost the antagonist and the protagonist. I think it's fantastic. There nearly isn't enough female representation like that in horror, and I definitely think that it's nice to have this and have it done so well.
There are female
In a lot of
revenge.
ways, this movie parallels Antichrist in the way
Yeah.
that it treats female and how females are typically considered evil in a lot of
Yes, and I think that's
old
brilliant when a movie can do
cultures.
that.
And it does so in a way where you could interpret it as a very misogynistic movie, but I think that's if you're looking at it at the most surface level
I think
way.
this movie is
and
pretty
it's-
genius. in how it
It's
handles it.
much deeper than that. And I feel the same way about Antichrist got accused constantly of being misogynist.
I think
and
it's completely the opposite.
The opposite.
Yes, it's the opposite.
Completely. And I feel the same way about this movie. It's honestly, it's making fun of that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is horror
Not
needs-
making fun, but satirizing.
Horror needs to get their shit together and stop making so much garbage so it
So
just
much
has
garbage
a terrible
horror
name.
comes out every year.
Annabelle Comes Home. You have
Yeah, the popcorn.
Like
horror
literally,
movies
like that is
say
the
nothing.
easiest genre to just make garbage and have it sell, which
I can
sucks.
name one good horror movie.
Hey,
you
you
can
want to
name
know
100
what the
bad
two
ones. It's
easiest genres are? Horror movies and rom-coms.
Rom-coms.
And this movie does both
Doesn't
better.
both well. Like the rom-com part was even kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I was
It was like a
interested
weird
in-
like David Lynchian rom-com.
Was it weird they have chemistry?
I mean,
They
yeah.
kind of do.
Except when it.
Except when it.
Can we talk about also the first appearance of gore in this movie is so jarring and perfect? When you see the tongue in the puddle of blood.
Yeah, I liked
It's
it
just
because
a
it
snap
snapped.
right
I
to
and
it.
didn't
loved
know
it.
how I felt about that.
I liked it.
Quite honestly.
I liked it.
It's kind of like
Felt a little bit like a Gozu moment in the middle of this
I disagree.
movie.
I think it's such a jarring just switch
Because it was like
anything
that was
like in the
he
movie yet.
that wasn't
Every
nec-
other bit worked for
that
me.
wasn't
That
necessarily
was a
what
little-
that wasn't necessarily what it looked like. That was
That's
what
what his-
he
Yeah,
pictured.
I
I
don't
love that
mind
whole
it
story
didn't-
too of
I
how
don't mind that it
the
didn't
whole
look realistic.
the whole building is just slanted and you
Oh,
can
that
see
was
it's
And,
cool.
and then like this the shot is slanted.
Yes.
Very cool.
I think it's just like such a great interesting way to like tell a story in a movie without having exposition. It is exposition technically, but
Yeah.
it's just done in such a
We
way.
talked about how hard to watch the torture scenes in this movie. I want to clarify for if you haven't seen this movie and we talked about it a lot and
Watch it.
you want to watch it if it sounds like something. This isn't like Saw.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
over
not
the
just
It's
top.
so cool because it's so violent.
It's like it was
there's
hard
a
to.
purpose to it.
It wasn't even like the torture is meticulous. It's not meant to like make you be like, oh, that's awesome gore. It's meant to be like you're supposed
It's
to
a
really
gut punch.
feel the pain
It doesn't
slowly. It's like it's
it doesn't
hard to
come off
watch.
as like being edgy just for the purpose of being
No, it-
edgy,
yeah,
just to
for
get
sure.
this audience of
meticulous.
gorehounds
That's
in.
exactly like the Saw movies. All the gore is like
Final
entertaining
Destination.
and
I'm
goofy.
gonna cut off
Final
your arm and you can
Destination
have these
is
sandwich.
goofy.
Yeah, like
It's like, what
okay,
the fuck?
whatever. There's no
it's
purpose.
not like that. You will feel the scenes in this movie.
I can picture each individual like frame of that torture scene like right now.
Yeah.
And
That
They don't hold
that puke
back.
scene, I
that
will
puke
remember that
scene will haunt me
scene.
in my
You see her
dreams,
doing you see her doing it in the back, the whole lead up
the
to
sound
it.
design.
I was like, oh no, she's not. I no, don't show it. And then it showed it. I was like, oh, and it showed it for like 10 seconds. I was like, oh
No, they
my
don't
god.
Hold back from showing anything in this movie.
I think it's also a great detail. He doesn't gag because he doesn't
It's
have
like
the
the
tongue.
Eric Andre bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but incredibly messed up.
Eric Andre stole from Audition.
gross.
All right, he also stole from the Holy Mountain,
He did.
and apparently,
this fantastic Holy Mountain reference in the middle.
that's a great. If we
Eric
get
Andre
H,
show,
can we just pick that? Even though we've all seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't care. I want to.
Hour-long discussion about
Yeah.
Anyways, let's.
it. All right, I think
We've talked way too long.
How long is this episode running so far, John?
hour 20. Hour
Oh, that's
21.
not bad.
It's not bad. I don't know. How long did we talk for?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'd say-
a little longer than that.
We talked about this for like 30 minutes. I think we talked about Amélie for like 10, 15 maybe.
Okay.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. All right, scores.
I don't want to go.
I'm
first.
gonna give it a 9.
I give it an 8.
I give it a 9, baby.
9.
All right.
We were so close to being in unison on all of them.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. We know you hate Gozu in this one. It's okay.
And favorite
I don't
movie.
hate Audition.
It's seriously
I love
like
Audition.
this. I was like surprised with this. Like this is
I was
seriously like
pleasantly surprised. I like this way more than Gozu.
like
I
now
love this.
I
And
loved it too, man.
Gozu sucks.
I'm so glad you loved it.
like this.
didn't
I was
expect
I was really not. I did not want to have to argue about this one. I
I
just
didn't
wanted to
feel
gush
like you
about
kind of
it.
played it up a little, like I didn't like it too.
that. Yeah, you did.
I was
you
worried. I
guys.
was like, oh no, he's
He's like,
gonna
no,
do it.
Carter, don't do it, man.
But I seriously like quickly became like one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
Yeah, I
seriously.
can see myself every Halloween watching this.
We kinda
With the
had
family.
We kind of
Yeah,
had a great
might as well.
episode.
Some positive, fun.
No one
just-
disliked any of the movies. We all really liked all of them.
Yeah.
Except Amélie.
We
had a
even
little
with that,
upset.
like we still liked
still-
it. We all gave it
I
sevens.
still
That's
enjoyed
positive.
Amélie.
You guys want to shit on June again?
Come on.
Sorry we didn't get the entertaining debating on this. We
So
were all
my-
in agreement on
1917,
every movie.
am I right?
Um,
Listen, we never want to dislike movies. This is so much more fun to me.
yeah,
I
and
feel so much
It's
happier.
just something that this is going to be like our
on
longest
hate
episode
mission.
because we talked about how much we liked every
Like it's
movie.
so easy to be negative about stuff. It's so nice to
I think
just,
that's great. Our longest episodes are gonna be the ones where we
just be
feel
able to
passion,
just
yeah.
absolutely gush about a movie.
because anytime
it's
we
so
feel hate,
fun.
we just have to stop ourselves.
Well, except for our first episode
Oh,
where
God,
we
yeah.
talked about Dogville for like 50 minutes.
I don't
That
even
was
think-
fun though.
That was
That
fun.
was just hate from me.
I don't hate Dogville.
That's it. We're bringing up Dogville.
All right, we're gonna
yeah,
end this
all
here.
right.
We're almost
Sorry,
at
I'm like the worst defender of bringing up other movies.
It's not a big deal.
It's
It's a
okay.
movie
Sorry, I'm the worst
podcast.
offender of not
If-
talking.
No, I was trying to
Alright,
let you in
everyone-
there, and Carter's like,
Yeah, that will not
Everyone bringing your worst podcast sings right now.
I get interrupted too much.
I interrupt too much.
Me too. And also, I talk about other movies.
It's
Go
just
on,
we're so excited. We just want to get our thoughts out. before
Nick,
we
you
get on.
cannot put that as one of your.
I get
You're
interrupted.
just attacking us.
You could have said something
I'm gonna
like.
put that as your podcast.
You could have said something
I
like,
don't
"I'm
Instead
not."
of
You
admitting
could have said,
a
"I'm
flaw,
not.
Hang on,
Ass-
hang on.
I'm not
Hang on.
assertive
Hang on.
enough."
I'm being interrupted right now.
You're the coward. You're the Robert Ford.
it,
of
that's
this.
it. Let me say
I
it, let
went
me say
from
it, let me say
liking and
Shut
feeling
the hell up,
sympathy
shut
for
the
you
hell up,
to
shut the
hating
hell
you.
up. I don't have
Now
a
you-
strong enough voice to go over you guys.
Whatever. We're ending this. I'm
Yeah,
not letting you
sure.
get your plugs in.
You know, I'm
I'm
pulling
not
your.
letting
All
you
right.
get your plugs in. I'm interrupting.
Oh,
you.
you're the host now.
I bet
Listen, we were in
the
unison this whole episode. Let's not
Oh,
ruin it.
here comes the
bet
debates
those.
you've been waiting
Okay.
for.
You told me I was the host.
What's our next letter? What? Oh,
Oh,
letter.
letter.
Did I?
I think you mean no.
I think I misspoke. For our 10th episode, we'll be doing a special, very special numbers edition. Now, numbers, there's like, we could start with 1, like 10 of them. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
What is happening right now?
The first unit of a movie
Numbers.
could be any number. It could be out of 10 numbers. And we picked some of them.
Okay.
What'd you pick?
Every 10th episode, we're gonna pick a number.
I was correct.
A number.
Not a number. That would be a little difficult.
Yeah, no, we're gonna pick a number movie. A movie
All right.
with a
What's
number.
favorite 0
Title.
movies? Go.
I puked in my
Who's start with 0? 0 Dark 30?
Oh. 007. Could that count?
I don't. None of those movies start with that.
00, could be 0.
None of them have that. Okay.
Okay.
What's your movie? Who wants to go first?
Carter can go first.
I picked 30.
Oh, my movie's acting. Go ahead.
No, the
I'm not participating. Jonathan, you can't participate.
My
You
movie-
did just as much interrupting as I did. Thank you.
my
I'm
movie.
the bullied.
I picked
You're
12
Robert
monkeys.
Ford.
12 monkeys. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of them. 12 monkeys.
I didn't know you could tell.
Watching that one. There's 12 of them. Monkeying around. Monkey business. Monkey man.
Someone stop him, please.
I'm not gonna stop until
Carter,
someone
just
cuts me
go.
off. Monkey dip. Monkey man.
Please go. My movie is 28 Weeks Later.
There you go. I wanted you to pick assertiveness.
I told you to go.
Can we not? Can we?
That was assertive.
Everyone's already clicked off. We could just do nothing and
Yeah.
no one.
No one cares.
I can say anything
You
I
can
want right
see-
now.
You can just look
No,
at it.
well, actually, us.
Because they have to
saying-
watch them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's us saying.
Yeah.
We also.
Before you interrupted me, I was
We
saying.
have hostage
that,
right now.
I'm stopping it before you can announce your movie.
35 shots of rum, Mr. Blister on Letterboxd.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nope.
35 shots of rum on the
Good
wall.
plot.
35 shots of rum.
I'll just show off that he knows French again.
Take one down. Pass it around.
I'm canceling Carter right now.
All right, plugs.
You better
Quick.
stop it.
Well, we
Rapid-
already canceled Jonathan.
Rapid fire
by
plugs. Let's go.
saying that,
Rapid fire. Rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Or
Let's
follow me
go.
on Instagram at Nick Movie Reviews.
Boom. What's yours?
Mr. Blister Letterboxd.
John Catch Fraser
And Marcus
Letterboxd.
Fur.
This will be in the description. Bye.